This is it. This is the Table of Nations, a second look. "70 Black Nations in Africa." There are 195 nations in the world today. This total, it comprises 193 nations that are members of the United Nations. According to the scriptures, there were 70 black nations in the world, and they all were located in Africa. There are an extra 125 nations on earth. These extra 125 nations, they did not exist in the 1st century AD. They are new to the earth. So where did the 125 extra nations come from? Who put them here on earth? These extra nations, they did not come from God. God put 70 black nations on earth and Africa. The 125 extra nations, they are outside of Africa. The inheritance of Shem, Ham, and Japheth are located in Africa. The earth will be filled with a Hebrew bloodline only. But this will not last, because the fallen angels, they will reproduce seed again, thereby creating another tainted and unholy bloodline on earth. And all of this, it is seen in the meaning of the names of Noah, Shem, and Japheth. After the flood, Africa was repopulated by the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. These were black men, and their wives were black women. Noah. Noah is the every letters, the Nun, and the Het. With the Het, it starts with a C, C-H, C-H-E-T. In Hebrew, the letter H is represented by the Het and the Tet. And Tet is used only when Het is at the end of the word. So Noah, the every letters, N-H. The N is the Nun, and that means seed, continue, here, son. H is Het. And Het means wall, outside, divide, and half. The word Noah, this word has been translated as rest, but looking at the meaning of each every letter, it is clear that Noah does not mean rest, and it does not mean comforted. The Nun, this refers to seed, and this refers to lineage or offspring. The Het, which is going to be the Ket, this refers to something that is divided. And whatever is divided, it is separated. And whatever is separated, it is set apart. And this is the definition, this is the meaning of holy. Thus the every letters NH. This properly means a holy lineage or a holy offspring. The meaning of Nor, it is set in opposition to the unholy offspring of the fallen angels, producing the Nephilim. The offspring of the fallen angels, they were unholy, and God, the Most High, He started a holy offspring through Nor. Hence Nor, it properly means holy offspring. Shem. Shem is the every letters Shin and Mem. Shin. This means sharp, press, eat, two, and two front teeth. Mem. This means water, chaos, mighty, and blood. Shem has been translated and given the meaning name. But when we look at the every letters, it is very clear that Shem does not mean name. The meaning of Shem, it follows the meaning of Nor, which is holy offspring. But the name Shem, it emphasizes the state of being holy, and it emphasizes the quantity of people that will be holy. Thus the proper meaning of Shem is holy offspring, with an emphasis on the quantity of the offspring that will be holy. And this is a reference to Abraham, who was made father of a multitude of people, hence a holy nation of people. Ham. The word ham has been incorrectly defined as burnt, black, or hot, and servant. But these definitions are all incorrect, and they are faulty definitions, and they have been used by the Caucasian to justify slavery of black people. Ham is the every letters, the Het and Mem, written as HM. The H is Het, and Het means wall, outside, divide, and halve. Mem, that means water, chaos, mighty, and blood. The meaning of Ham, it is connected to Ham's son Canaan. Canaan, he was cursed. The meaning of Ham is divided seed, or separated seed. The seed of Ham, which is Canaan, the seed of Ham was divided and separated from the house of God because of Canaan's sin. Canaan, he broke the oath that Noah made with his sons. In Jubilees chapter 9, verse 14, it reads, "And thus the sons of Noah divided unto their sons in the presence of Noah their father, and he bound them all by an oath, imprecating a curse on everyone that sought to seize the portion which had not fallen to him by his lot." Canaan separated himself from the oath that Noah made with his sons. Noah named his second son Ham, and this was done by the foreknowledge of God. God knew the sin of Ham's son Canaan. The Most High knew that Canaan would commit sin by seizing a portion of an inheritance, of Shem's inheritance. Canaan seized it for himself. Therefore Noah's second son, is named Ham. And Ham, It means divided seed or separated seed. When Ham committed sin, Noah cursed the seed of Ham, which is Canaan. And the reason Noah did that is because Noah knew from the revelation of the Most High that Canaan would break the oath of taking another person's property, taking another person's inheritance, taking Shem's inheritance. According to God's foreknowledge, Canaan was going to steal the land that was promised to Shem's descendants. Canaan was going to break the oath. This is why the Canaanites, they were in the promised land when Moses and the Hebrews left Egypt on the Exodus route. So the meaning of Ham, it is found in the sin of Canaan, which means divided seed. Japheth. Japheth is the Ivri letters, the Ayin, Pei, and Tav. The Ayin, this means see, watch, know, shade. The P, this is the Pei, which means open, blow, scatter, and edge. T, this is the Tav, and it means mark, sign, signal, monument. Japheth has been translated as enlarge. It has also been defined as beauty, fair, and white skin. But looking at the Ivri letters, it is very clear that Japheth, it does not mean beauty, fair, and white skin. Japheth means enlarge, but it means more than just enlarge. The Ayin in Japheth, this refers to the watchers, and it means to see, to watch. This is a reference to the watchers, the Grigori, the fallen angels. The Pei, this refers to enlargement, and this is seen where Pei is a mouth, meaning open, and where the mouth opens, the opening becomes enlarged. The pictograph of the Ayin, this becomes the shape of a zero, and this represents the world. This represents the eye of the world, and the eye of the world is not man, it is the watchers that God created to watch mankind. The watchers will increase the world population, hence it will be enlarged. All of this is a sign of the end, and this is the Tav that refers to a sign. Japheth, the Hebrew word Japheth, it properly means watchers enlarge, or watchers will enlarge. The Ayin in the word Japheth, it is the number 70. And there were 70 nations, 70 black nations on earth in Africa. And the watchers, they will enlarge or increase the number, taking it beyond 70 nations, causing more nations to be on earth. This was done through Japheth's lineage, because Japheth's lineage, they went out of Africa. And the evidence that Japheth's lineage went out of Africa is seen in Japheth's son Madai. Madai is worshipped as Madai Net in the land that is called India and Mongol and other Asian countries. We have to ask ourselves the question, how did this Hebrew word of Madai get outside of Africa into lands that is outside of Africa? This can only happen by migration of the people from Africa. Shem produced 26 nations, and Ham produced 30 nations. Japheth, he produced the least amount of nations, but the fallen angels, they will increase the number of nations from Japheth's lineage, and this was done by the interbreeding. Thus Japheth, he became enlarged with more nations, with 125 additional nations. The names of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, they apply to the person and to a future event. Shem applies to the person called Shem, and to the future event concerning Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. From these three black men came the nation of the black Hebrews. The name Ham, this applies to the person called Ham and to the future event of Canaan, stealing Shem's portion of land. The name Japheth, this name applies to the person called Japheth and to the event of the fallen angels interbreeding with the black woman, thereby producing mutated offspring on earth, which increased the population of nations on earth, thus enlarged. In 1751, Benjamin Franklin wrote a letter titled Observations Concerning the Increase of Mankind. In this letter, Benjamin Franklin lets us know that the entire world was black, with the exception of England. Benjamin Franklin, he said the following, which leads me to add one remark, that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small. All Africa is black or tawny, Asia chiefly tawny, America, exclusive of the newcomers, wholly so, and in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, and Swedes are generally of what we call a swarthy complexion, as are the Germans. Benjamin Franklin said Asia is black, Europe is black, the Spaniards are black, Italians are black, the French are black, Russians are black, Swedes are black, and Germans are black. And this was in 1751. He goes on to say the Saxons only accepted who with the English make the principal body of white people on the face of the earth. This is an admission that the entire world was black, and this was in 1751. The only people on earth that were white were the Saxons and the English, and this was a small group of white people, while the whole world was black. And from this lack of whiteness came the need to increase the white population. The increase of the white population is the meaning of Japheth. Japheth means watchers will enlarge. Benjamin Franklin, he immediately noticed the need to increase the white population. This need, it was carried out in various diabolical ways, such as the following. The Caucasian, in order to increase the white population, the Caucasians, he stole and wrote himself into black history. He stole black history and wrote himself into black history. The Caucasian whitewashing black history. The Caucasian creating fake nations of white people that never existed. The Caucasian killing black people with the intent of depopulating and exterminating the black race, thereby increasing the white population. The need to increase the white population, 1751. The diabolical method used by the Caucasian to increase the white population was to steal black history, then whitewash black history, and write himself into black history. The 70 black nations that were in Africa, they were stolen by the Caucasian, and they were placed into land outside of Africa. The Caucasian started his diabolical plan by stealing the identity of all black people in scripture and history. All history is black history, and white history is stolen history of black history. The Caucasian, he stole the identities of Adam and Eve. It is very important for the black man and black woman to know and realize that the Caucasian, he stole all of Africa and placed himself into black history. The following are just some of the lies told by the Caucasian, rewriting black history and whitewashing black history. Adam, the Caucasian, he reinterprets the Hebrew scriptures, altering, adding, and deleting in order to write himself into the scriptures of the black man and black woman. The Caucasian started with Adam. Adam is black, but the Caucasian, he rewrites the scripture and adds the English word read. He adds this word into the Hebrew language. Then he claims Adam was a white man because the word read is found in the scripture. The Caucasian says the English word read is the Hebrew word Adam, spelled A-D-O-M, Adam. The Hebrew word Adam, it does not mean red, and there is no Hebrew word for the English word red. The Hebrews, they used the word Tolah and Shani. Tolah, spelled T-O-L-A. This is the Hebrew word for prism, and Shani, spelled S-H-A-N-I. This is the Hebrew word for scarlet, and this is in reference to the red color of a worm. The Hebrew words Tolah and Shani, they do not appear in the text on Adam. This means the Hebrews, they never said Adam was white or red. When we see the English word red in the scriptures, that is an interpolation added by the Caucasian, because the black Hebrews, they never used the English word red. This applies to the text on King David in 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 12, where the Caucasian, he defines the Hebrew word Admoni, spelled A-D-M-O-N-I, Admoni. The Caucasian, he redefines this Hebrew word as red and ruddy. The Hebrew word for the color red is Tolah and Shani. And these two Hebrew words, they do not appear in 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 12. This is the evidence of an interpolation by the Caucasian, where he tries to write himself into the scriptures and black history by making David red and white. In 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 12, the Hebrew word Admoni, that refers to the ground, Adama. The Hebrew word for ground and dirt and dust is Adama. 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 12, it is saying that David, he was dirty, not red, not ruddy, but dirty. And the Hebrew word Admoni has a root word, Adama. And Adama refers to the ground, dirt, and dust. The Caucasian whitewashed and stole the identity of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and he stole the identity of their descendants. The black man and the black woman must understand that the Neanderthal, wild man, and caveman, they are the Caucasian, and they are claiming to be the descendants of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The Caucasian, he made Japheth white, and he made Shem to be Middle Eastern. Middle Eastern people are genetically the same as white people. Both of them suffer from various genetic mutations, and both of them have the same pheomelanin and recessive genes. A recessive gene is a mutated gene. The need to increase the white race has led the Caucasian to create nations that never existed. Nations created by the Caucasian. The following are nations created by the Caucasian. These nations are not historical. They never existed in history. These nations consist of people that descend from the wild man. They are the people that confiscated the scriptures and the land of the black Hebrews. They are the people that claim to be descendants of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ashkenaz. There is no such thing as an Ashkenazi Jew. The phrase Ashkenazi Jew, it is linguistic confusion. It is a combination of the descendants of Shem with the descendants of Japheth. Ashkenaz is a descendant of Japheth. He is a son of Gomer. And Jews, they are the descendants of Shem, and both live in different territories. Ashkenazi Jew, this phrase, it is the lie, deception, and creation of the Caucasian. Ashkenaz, it is said that he is white, and it is said Ashkenaz are the current Ashkenazi Jews of Europe and the Middle East. Ashkenaz has been defined as German, but according to Benjamin Franklin, Franklin says the Germans are black. The Germans, they turned white through whitewashing. Ashkenaz, it has been defined as a fire that spreads. But these proposed definitions, they all are incorrect. Ashkenaz in Hebrew, this is the every letters A, S, H, K, N, Z. It is the Aleph, Shin, Kaf, Nun, and Zayin. The Aleph, this means strong, power, leader. The S is the Shin, and that means sharp, press, eat, two front teeth. The K, this is the Kaf, and that means bend, open, allow, tame. N is the Nun, and it means see, continue, hear, sun. Z is Zayin, and it means food, cut, nourish. The Hebrew word Ashkenaz has absolutely nothing to do with the Caucasians' claim to be of Ashkenazi origin. The Hebrew word Ashkenaz, it does not mean German, and it does not mean a fire that spreads. The Hebrew word Ashkenaz, it is the name of a historical black man, the son of Gomer, and it is the geographical description of a certain area of land. The Aleph in Ashkenaz, this refers to a kingdom, and this is seen in the meaning leader, which refers to a king or a kingdom. The Shin in Ashkenaz, this refers to something that is divided, and this is seen in the meaning two, which represents a division, something that is cut into two pieces. The Kaf, this refers to something that bends and is curved in the land. The Nun refers to fertility of the land, and this is seen in the meaning seed, which is reproduction, thus fertility. The Zayin, this also refers to fertility, and this is seen in the pictograph of Zayin, which is a picture of a medak, which is an agricultural tool used for working crops in a field. The Hebrew word Ashkenaz gives the description of a kingdom located in Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia was fertile land that sits between divided waters, the Euphrates and Tigris rivers, and these two rivers, they are called Aram Naharaim. Within this location were Armenian kingdoms, and Armenia, it was divided into Armenia Major and Armenia Minor. The kingdom of Ashkenaz was located in Armenia Minor, also called Lesser Armenia, and it was located northwest of the Euphrates River. Thus the Hebrew word Ashkenaz, it refers to a kingdom of Armenia Minor, located in Mesopotamia. Ashkenaz, along with Togarmah, both of these men and their descendants, they were considered among the ancestors of the Armenians. These people were black, and they lived in Africa, in Namibia. They were never located outside of Africa. Togarmah. Togarmah has been defined by scholars as thou wilt break her, but this is incorrect. This is not the meaning, definition, nor understanding of Togarmah. Many have placed Togarmah in Russia, but this is the wrong location of Togarmah, and the Russians, they are not the descendants of Togarmah. Others have placed Togarmah in present-day Turkey, but this is the wrong location of Togarmah. Togarmah is located in Africa, in the area called Windhoek. Windhoek is a place name used to cover up Aram, and Aram is Armenia, and this is the location of Togarmah. Togarmah is called Frisians, and they live in the area of Windhoek. This is called Asia Minor, and Asia Minor is Lower Galilee. Josephus, he identified Togarmah as Frisians, located in Asia Minor, which is Lower Galilee. The Caucasian, he stole the identity of Togarmah. Togarmah was a black man in Africa. The Caucasian whitewashed him and placed him in Turkey, outside of Africa. The Caucasian rewrote black history and said Togarmah is from Anatolia, Turkey, but this is a lie. Togarmah was a black man descended from Japheth and lived in Africa. Togarmah, he is the founder of the Togarmians, but the Greeks called them Frisians. The Frisians, they consisted of groups of different tribes of people. This is why the Gomerites, they are said to be Frisians as well, and the Togarmians, they are also said to be Frisians. There are other tribes of people said to be Frisians, and these people, many of them migrated to Armenia. Hul is a son of Aram, and he is the founder of Armenia. Many, spelled M-I-N-N-I. Many is the name of Armenia found in Scripture in Jeremiah chapter 51 verse 27. It appears with Ararat and Ashkenaz. The Caucasian, he took the Greek word Anatolia and created a country called Turkey. Turkey is not historical. It never existed in history. In 1751, the white population consisted of the Saxons and the English, and according to Benjamin Franklin, the whole world was black, and this caused a need to increase the white population. As a result, the Caucasian, he created 125 additional nations that never existed. The Caucasian did this by stealing the identity of the 70 black nations that existed in Africa. After the Caucasian stole the 70 black nations from Africa, he began the scramble for Africa, stealing the natural resources from Africa, stealing the medicinal plants from Africa, and much, much more. The Most High, he created and caused 70 black nations to exist in Africa. The Caucasian, the descendant of the fallen angels, this being, this entity created 125 additional nations that never existed, thereby enlarging the lineage and descendant of Japheth.